Viewer discretion is advised. Your fave will be criticized.
That's Chris.
That's Chantel.
And this is CCTV, the nonstop pop show.
And it's time for the February 2024 K-Pop Pop-Off.
Here on CCTV, Chris and I have the inside scoop with extensive experience performing on stage and working at record labels. And you can join us in our in-depth conversations about global pop music on Patreon at patreon.com/CCTVPops and become a part of our amazing CCTV crew, including Lily, Louie, Emily, and Juliet.
Yeah. And so we thought it would be a really fun idea to start bringing some guest hosts for some of our episodes. And we are so excited to have with us today Emily of the K-Pop Weekly podcast. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is going to be fun.
Yes, we have loved your previous show, the NYC K-Pop Queens, and we're so glad you decided to continue. So tell us about your show and also just how you got into K-Pop as well.
Thank you so much. I love that you listen to New York City K-Pop Queens. I did that for 3 years with my co-host Charity. Charity retired and I couldn't stay away. I love K-pop so much. I was like, I have to start a new show. So my show now is called the K-Pop Weekly Podcast with Emily Mallon. You guys can find it everywhere. It's on every audio platform and also on YouTube. So check out the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I got into K-pop like a lot of people. I feel like it's the most cliche story because it was BTS. I was writing for an entertainment blog covering pop culture, and I was covering the American Music Awards in 2017. So that's when BTS, it was the biggest deal. And I kept being like, who's BTS? I thought it was cool. I thought I knew everything about music. And I was all of a sudden like, BTS are like the hottest thing here. And I had, a mixed reaction. I watched the performance and I think I felt like a lot of people do when they're exposed to K-pop for the first time. You have this feeling of this is so different. There's no way they're singing live. This is so different. And halfway through it, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. It was DNA and I was obsessed. And then I did, I want to know their names. Let me check out a few music videos tonight. And that was it. I fell into the hole and I became a huge army. But pretty quickly, I became a multi. So the next group was Monsta X, NCT 127.
Yeah.
And then I really got into EXO. So I'm a huge multi. Yes. My favorite groups are like Monsta X, Stray Kids, NCT 127, EXO. On the girls' side, I like Girls' Generation. They're like my queens. OG.
Yes.
I like aespa. I like a little bit of everything. There's a lot of young boy groups I'm really into right now. So I love K-pop.
Nice. We love that.
Okay, guys. So that being said, we put up a poll on Patreon, Twitter, and YouTube at CCTV Pops, and you all voted for 3 of K-pop's biggest releases of February 2024 to battle it out on our Pop-Off segment, where we will discuss and compare the songs, videos, performances, and everything in between. All right. That being said as well, this is pure fun. Don't take it so seriously, or do, but drop it in the comments and let us know what wins for you all. Okay? Keep it clean.
Yes. So this month, you voted for SSERAFIM's Easy, Twice's One Spark, and NCT Wish's Wish. So let's get ready to rumble.
Round 1.
Round 1, it's all about the song itself, the production, the vocals, the melody, the composition.
Player 1.
And starting with player 1, we have SSERAFIM with Easy, which was done by Sean Turk, Cache, Kiddo AI, Joseph Barrios, Alex Fernandez, Jordan Smith, Haydar Adora, Supreme Boy, Hitman Bang, and Score and Megatone of 13. That's a lot of people for this song.
Yes. That's a lot. A lot of songwriters.
Yeah, so writing this maybe was not so easy, I guess.
No, stop.
So Emily, why don't you start us off? I know you actually reviewed this on your show as well. What do you think of the song?
Okay. It's not my favorite. I don't dislike it. I think the song's fine. It's kind of this like 90s R&B B-side track. I think it threw me off a bit because their singles have been so dynamic, like really dynamic, powerful title tracks. This was different. This was a choice. They're trying something else. I don't think it's bad. I like the song. It works okay for me, but it's a little short. It kind of doesn't go anywhere. it's too short for me. I like you. I was like, there's 10 songwriters on this one. Wow, that's a lot of songwriters. I'm not sure a song like this needed 10 songwriters. Is it the recorder part? Is that what took that many songwriters? That recorder at the beginning, that recorder, y'all, like, it's one of the most annoying things I've ever heard. And I don't know. It was like they listened to 127 Sticker and they're like, let's do that. But something that's even more annoying than that flute. And no hate on Sticker. I actually like Sticker. After a few listens, I was like, this song slaps. This is a great song. But the beginning of this one with that like recorder intro, I don't know why that's there. And I really disliked it. Sure. So that kind of took me out. The song, again, it's a B-side. It's like a Tinashe B-side. It's fine. If that's what they're going for, I guess, a Western 90s R&B sound. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. That is so valid. I was listening to Tinashe this week, the BB Angel experience.
Right?
Oh, that's like,
exactly. That's what I thought the second I heard it. I was like,
nice.
Who wrote this? Somebody on Tinashe's projects? Like, that's my immediate thought. I was like, okay, and it would be good. Like, Tinashe does this. I'd be like, all right, that works. I mean, it's fine for a B-side, like, middle of the album.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, valid. You know, I got a little bit Victoria Monet because, you know, if you listen to the SSERAFIM's, like, discography, they got comparisons to Cobra, Rosalia in the past, and even with the easy intro leading into this song, it sounded like Olivia Rodrigo. And unfortunately, they've gotten into this, like, weird kind of space where they're getting trendy songs from other people that don't actually have a sound of their own. Lyrically speaking, they can describe themselves, or at least the lyricists can describe themselves as like, this is SSERAFIM, they've been through this, they're these kind of girls. But we don't know what these girls' sound like actually is. Because, I mean, Victoria Monet's On My Mama was everywhere.
Yes.
You know, the same way like Tuan was everywhere for like South Korea. On My Mama, oh my God. Yeah, I love that song. So I wouldn't be surprised if a brief said something in the vein of Victoria Monet inspired. So I think that is kind of what's happening with them. Even with Smart, people heard the Amapiano and thought Hyla. So unfortunately, they're getting stuck in this little bag of, they can dance and sing, but is it their sound? So I think I agree with you in that sense where it's just like, it does sound like a little middle of the road kind of album track. It's just tough. But lyrically, I think it does maintain their group aesthetic, like the visual, the concept of the group of being like, you know, grace under fire, you know, not looking like their struggles. Because me, honey, I'm the first person to be like, I be going through it, but you will never know. You will never know. And that's what the song is about. So I definitely do appreciate it. But yeah, no, I mean, it's for maybe for people like us who listen to music outside of K-pop, it's nothing like specially like, wow. But for a lot of young K-pop fans who really don't have a sphere of influence outside of K-pop, or maybe just like their reference was like a Tate McRae or blah, 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 just young pop artists and not like throwback pop and R&B artists, they're like, oh my God, this is special. This is different for the K-pop landscape. You know what I'm saying? The soundscape for them is like, wow, this is so, you know. But it's a decent song, but I think you're right with the dynamism missing for sure. Like a little switch up here and there in the production, something like Chris, what did you think about the production? Because you know, you hear the drums and it sounds really trappy. Like, what did you think? It
was fine. Like, it really does just sound like what you said. Like, they were given this brief of that list of Western songs and they wanted to seem cool, and they were like, just copy all of that. Like, I'm sure if we searched hard enough, we could find a bunch of songs that also have a distorted recorder or flute in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So it's all just a bit faceless. And even vocally, I cannot tell any of these girls apart. Like, the processing, like, I get it. Like, the autotune makes sense, I guess, with this type of song. But it's just, and they're supposed to sing it in this lazy way, quote unquote. But it's just, there's just no interesting tones in there. Like, it's just not very captivating in any way. I do think it does, if you include it in kind of just their overall discography, I guess it does bring something new to it, especially if you don't really listen to those artists in the West. Yeah, and it is risky for a K-pop title track because it doesn't have the energy and kind of chaos of a normal K-pop title track. So I appreciate it in that it's a risk in that way, but the actual song itself is not a risk, right? I do have to say, I liked the drum and bass remix on the Remix EP they put out. That was much cooler, and it had a much more, like, it had more of a roller coaster effect to it, because there was just a lot more interesting things going on.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish they just went with that. But yeah, I don't think I'll be returning to this one much, honestly.
Aww.
Yeah.
And that being said, on to player 2. And that's Twice with One Spark.
Player 2.
And it was done by Kyler Nico, Sim Unji, Ear Attack, Melody Joy Fontana, Paulina Seria, and Lu Woo Hyun. Oh, these names are all mixed up. Yeah.
I will say this sounds exactly just how I expected it to. So you can either take that as a good thing or a bad thing, depending on, I guess, how you see Twice as an artist. Is there any artistic growth or anything here? No. Is it on par with previous title tracks? Yes. So I think if you're already a Twice fan, this will be great for you. But it's not going to do anything to convert any new fans, I don't think. But as a casual Twice fan who likes maybe half of their title tracks, I actually do like the song. I think the melody is super nice. It's very warm. I like the structure of it. The production is very sparkly, glittery, kind of what you want from this kind of like more princessy kind of vibe that Twice just tends to have. There are some really nice backing vocals as well throughout the whole song, which is what I picked up, because I think in general, Twice never really has very dynamic backing vocals, but this one has some really nice harmonies, actually. Of course, they don't sing them live, but at least they're there. And yeah, so overall, I like it, but it just feels more of the same. Like I don't... Like, listening to a full Twice, like, playlist or something, I don't think this would necessarily stand out, but it's not a bad song.
Valid.
I will say, though, one part that really annoys me, the last... line, like just the acapella Nayeon just ending the chorus. Yeah, why is she belting it? Why is she belting it? Like, give us something soft, you know? It's just a lot. Like, I feel like with JYP in general, there's always just like two tones. There's like you belt as loud as you can, or you go super soft and breathy, and there's like no in between. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no melisma.
Yeah. Anyway, Emily, how about you? Are you a Twice fan?
First of all of that was so valid. I'm over here like nodding my head off to everything you guys are saying. I'm like, yes. I would say I'm a fan of Twice, but I don't stand Twice. So I'm kind of middle of the road. I think what they do very well. They do it well, and they've been doing it a long time. I agree with you. This song to me just felt like this is what I expect, which isn't a bad thing. I don't think it's their best title track. I actually really liked the pre-release. I thought I Got You was interesting. There were a lot more dynamics there that were different for Twice. And that actually emotionally resonated with me. When that chorus came in, the belting works, and I was like, oh, wow, this one was, the chorus is catchy. The production's very bright, synth heavy. It's Twice. It's what you expect. I'm with you. I'm not going to listen to this 24/7. It's not going to stand out on Twice playlist, but I think the chorus, like My Heart Is Burning, that's catchy. That's stuck in my head. And they all do a good job with what they're given. With Twice, I do recognize their voices now. I've listened to them and reviewed them so much.
Valid.
Compared to SSERAFIM, you recognize different voices. There's at least some different tones and dynamics coming in, which I appreciate. The Twice song that got me was I Can't Stop Me. Do you guys remember I Can't Stop Me?
Yeah.
That's my title track. That was my title track that I finally got it with Twice. I had been reviewing them for a while. And I was like, that one I thought was just killer. And that's kind of my standard for Twice. Is it this? Is it this? Every time there's a new review, I'm like, it's not quite there. We didn't quite get there. This one I think is okay. It's fine. It is what it is.
No, it's interesting you said it because that was like their grown woman single, right?
Yes.
Right? Melanie Joy also wrote that, and she's been writing for them for every comeback almost now. Almost every comeback. Yeah, actually. Except Moonlight Sunrise. I think that was Citizen Queen, right? Like a rapper from there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think there's been a little bit of the ones don't really care for the Lindgren team. They're a married couple that produce and sing, write for Twice. and they're like, oh man, it's going to sound like this, it's going to sound like that, it's going to sound too retro, it's going to be like this, it's going to sound like, but I don't think K-pop fans like really understand that a lot of these songwriters and these groups don't really have much of a say unless there is maybe someone who works with them really closely or is in the group that can compose for them. And then even still with Twice, they'll end up having a song they've written as a B-side or like as like a concert performance. This is coming from I'm a stan. Anyway, but the point is like Melody Joy's gotten a lot of backlash from this, and I'm just like, it's not fair because unfortunately this is now Twice's sound. JYP is known for having the retro sound from the Wonder Girls, Miss A, 2PM, even got 7 Stray Kids, notwithstanding because they have 3 of them, 4 of them that produce. But for the rest of the, especially the girl groups, retro is the sound. So if going back to the same thing about the brief, if they're getting a brief saying, can you recreate the magic for this group, even it's like, I feel almost like bad for the Lindgren team in terms of like, how many times can you reinvent the wheel? Like they put glitter on it, they've put like platinum on it. So, they've tried so many times to try to reinvent the wheel, and the songs are consistent. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully in the future, they'll get a brief or get an assignment from JYP that says, give Twice something really nice. Because Set Me Free, for me, I like it a little bit more than this because it had a little bit more of a cooler sound with that like bouncy, bassy synth. I was like, oh, this is nice. And the song isn't bad, but I think I like the verses more. The girls are singing in their range. Thank goodness. Like, I think that's another like benefit of having Melody Joy. She's not singing like in like Korean pop girl vocal, because JYP makes his singer sing way too high, consistently. And so this is like really satisfactory in terms of a retro track. I think the pre-hooks bass drum and the second verses with the 808 with the slight trap breakdown kind of galvanizes the song a little bit more. There's a lot of just interesting percussive instruments that are going on that kind of help me get through it. But yeah, it is tough listening to another retro track. I'm not saying the onces are wrong, but it's also not Lindgren team's fault. Lyrically, the song's about love. Can be switched over to Twice's career. Love that for them. They're pretty consistent. But yeah, nothing really stands out except maybe like vocally, Junghyun, Dahyun, and Sana in that second chorus. Favorite vocal iteration of that, because Junghyun has a great open belty voice. Dahyun can handle falsettos really well, and Sana has finally figured out that her voice is mixed, and they let her sing in that little range, and it sounds good. So I'm happy in terms of like the vocal performance, some type of production switch up, but it's kind of just sitting in that, okay, give me something else. I know you got it in you, in that realm. I don't know what that's called, but it's just waiting for that to manifest.
You can't be like mad at the song. It's not like, oh, this is horrible. You can't be mad at it, but yes, it's like,
just waiting for something else.
Well, moving on, we have a new group. We have the final group for the NCT family. It's no longer Infinite Expansion. They're done. We have NCT WISH with their track Wish.
Player 3.
And this one was done by Kenzie, H. Toyosaki, Dress Honso, George Gershwin, Ira Gershwin, and John Jane. So, Chantel, what do you think of NCT WISH?
Wow, Gershwin, amazing. Yes.
Imagine. Are they descendants?
Right? Can you imagine? If y'all don't know, you better go Google. But yeah, so, okay, I have to be honest. I'm so glad the NCT, like, the reincarnations are being stopped, because it's like the Avatar. It's like, we don't need a new one every generation. We're good. But this one, I'm so glad that they are using vocals as the forefront to their performance, because what ended up happening with NCT is that now, like we said it on our EXO Pop on 101, you knew EXO if you knew Baekhyun, Dio, you know what I'm saying? You know NCT if you know Mark Taeyong. With this group, now they can actually sing, and people can be like, oh my God, what's that one that was singing this part? And I appreciate that so much. And no offense, I love rap, don't get me wrong, like, hello. But at the same time, please give me vocals. And they gave me this. Thankfully, I will say I don't care for the processing on the vocals. The mix on it is funky, but luckily they actually sound pretty good. I will say, like, in terms of like the dynamics of the song, this is the most roller coastery we got out of all three. The intro into the verse is so jarring because at first I was like, God, if I get one more yelly, chanty hip hop, and then it switched. And I was like, okay. So for me, I feel like the intro sounds like an album intro into the main event of it, you know? Also, this song is an amalgamation of so many different like black genres. Like it's jazzy with the chords, and it reminded me of Attention for a second, but it doesn't stay around for too long, right? Because you have this like the horns and then wiry synth, and it doesn't feel so derivative. So kudos to them for being like, listen, they're on our asses right now. Make it happen. Make us a duplicate, but not making it so copy. Like it sounds like jazz, boom bap, hip hop. There's a little New Jack Swing drum right before the chorus comes in. There's funk in there. And I wasn't overwhelmed where I was like, oh my God, not y'all throwing everything in the black kitchen sink. You know, you guys know.
Oh,
so I really do appreciate it. I was like, because it could have gone so many different ways. And you know, SM is not afraid of a little like genre origin. You know they're not. So I really do appreciate the usage of all those genres and like marry them together nicely. The chorus melody, ear candy. Love the harmonies in the beginning. It reminded me of a Stevie Wonder song. I can't think of it is what it is. The ooh, can't remember the song, but it reminds me of that. The lyrics are self-referential. Love that. And also, again, love the vocals that they're actually singing. I think that the Yeah 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 bridge was a little lazy, but interesting because a guy can sing his face off. It was so lazy. But hashtag bring back vocals in K-pop. I'm not mad.
Yes.
This is solid. Solid song.
Yes.
Yes, I agree with you. So yeah, vocally, I said the same thing about that processing. Why did they do that? They did not need to do that. You know, I always kind of have a soft spot for SM because I like the more kind of R&B soul influence that a lot of SM songs have, and in their vocal training as well. And you can hear it with them as well. But due to the whatever processing is on there, you don't get that as much as you should, I think. So it sounds more robotic than it should. But yeah, you know, I think I like NCT. I definitely was getting overwhelmed by how many there were. So I am also glad that it's over. Again, though, just like the last song, this kind of sounds exactly how I expected it would. And again, you can take that as a good thing or a bad thing. Because I think if you love the NCT family, I think this is safe in that it should work kind of for if you're already a fan. Because it kind of sounds like what NCT Dream could do if they launched now, really.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I like the song itself. I like the youthfulness of it. The production's very lush, very full. And yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's not overwhelming. So yeah, I like it. But overall, I just don't fully see why they are even needed, to be honest. Like, if you didn't have that NCT kind of chant, that signature chant, self-referencing themselves, this could be a Rise song. You know? Like, I just don't really get the point. Like, melodically, it could be a song for one of the other units, too. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't fully get it, but, like, they're very, very talented, and I'm excited to see how they grow, like, as performers, but I just think it's, like, already one too many. But I guess they were already in the making, so it was too late. I don't know.
Contracts, bro. They signed their lives away.
Exactly.
Hyung, are we going to debut Hyung?
Well, and also they're like the Japanese subunit. Right. That's a whole marketing thing. It's a whole market. So they had, let's do Japan NCT. Yeah, I get it. But I think it's interesting what you brought up that it could be a Rise song. I almost feel like Rise to me sounds more NCT than NCT Wish. I feel like this group brought kind of a fresh, different, almost more restrained, for lack of a better word. It didn't have like the chaos that a Dream song has. And I mean that in the best way. Yeah. But there was something here in the production that was a little bit different for me. I love the 90s vibe. Yeah. I almost felt like you brought up New Jack Swing. I hear that so strong in this. The Stevie Wonder influence. There's some horns that I love. Yeah. But when that start happened, that intro that is a little jarring, I went straight to like Boys to Men, Motown Philly. Ooh. I was like, I get this. I get this, and I'm here for this. And then I loved the switch up. There was something so refreshing and bright that I wasn't expecting. So I liked this more than I thought I would. I was really like, oh, wow. vocal layering, I think, worked, but that processing, I totally hear what you're saying. These guys can sing. They can sing. And like you, I love SM groups. I hate saying I'm a stan of a label because the business side of that label is a mess.
Oh, yeah.
But talent-wise, I tend to always vibe with what they do because I like vocals. I like R&B. They can sing. I mean, that sounds ridiculous to have to say, but we're at a point in K-pop where a lot of groups can sing. You're watching dance troupes that lip sync.
That's right.
I'm not really into that. That's not my vibe. So I'm always going to favor and be excited about groups that can sing. And I'm so happy that they're debuting yet another group that can actually sing. There's vocalists on this group. You could tell. I liked this song. I liked it. And I think it's hard when you're debuting a very young group to not be overly cutesy.
Yeah.
And I think they towed the line really well here. It still felt like age appropriate and young and fun, but it wasn't that like nauseating cutesy thing that you see sometimes with younger K-pop groups. That's not my vibe. I'm never that excited about that.
I think we're too old for that.
We're too old. Like, honestly, like, I'm too old. The like really cute schoolboy thing, I can only take this much of it. And definitely with the sound, I can't go there. So I actually liked this song. I thought that this was refreshing and bright and a little bit different. I was like, not what I expected. I think they're carving a little bit of a different sound here. I'm here for Wish.
Nice. I love it. Well, that ends round 1. So it's time to choose a winner. So Chantel, what wins the song round for you?
I don't know if it was obvious, but I like NCT Wish's song. And I'm so surprised I liked it because I'm not going to hold you. I heard SSERAFIM was with us and they're like, doing a little heel toe and stuff because I grew up with this. But NCT Wish had all of that and more, and actually put together a good song and sang bases off. So NCT Wish.
Okay, Emily, how about you?
It's so funny because I'm right there with you. I felt the same way. Like Easy, again, that's my vibe. I'm doing like body rolls to it. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel you. I got this. But the NCT Wish song, it's kind of everything I want in a K-pop song. If I'm listening to a K-pop song, we had the dynamic switch-ups. We had vocals. NCT Wish.
Okay, nice. I will actually also choose NCT Wish as well. I don't love it. I don't think as much as the two of you, but I do like it more than the other two.
Valid. No, that's valid. That's valid.
By default.
Yeah.
By default, NCT Wish wins.
So now we're going to go to round 2, y'all. And this is the music video section.
Round 2.
Player 1 is SSERAFIM. Emily, what do you think of the video?
I liked the video more than my initial thoughts on the song. I will say that. I think if you're a fan, you're going to love the video because they look gorgeous. And I thought it was smart that they really focused on performance. To me, this is a group that when I watch their live performances, when I watch them at the year-end awards, they focus on dance. They focus on choreography and a big stage show. I think it's smart to focus on performance for a song like this. I can't wait to talk about the choreography. I have thoughts on that. But I liked the music video. I got a 90s influence in the music video as well. The church scene with like the neon lights reminded me so much of Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. And then I also want to point out there's very specific references to Crush on You by Lil' Kim. I'm not sure if everyone knows that video. Look it up. Lil' Kim is the queen. There's like, I think it's Cheon is in a bathtub and her sunglasses and the whole scene. I was like, I've seen this. I know this. So they're doing specific references to 90s stuff that's very relatable if you're old like me and you remember it, or it might be refreshing and cool to younger people who have no idea. And this is the first time they're seeing that imagery. Right. That's where it came from. This is not new to some of us. But I mean, I thought the video worked for the song. I wasn't blown away, but I think if you're a fan, you probably love this. They looked pretty. The abs are toned. The abs are toned on these girls.
Yeah. Oof. I have something to say about that later.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know if you guys have seen, there's been a lot of discourse online from the netizens about the fact that they were doing this video in a church. They felt that that was inappropriate. And then also it was banned on one of the Korean music channels, I think due to that bathtub scene, because they were like, oh, this is representing self-harm.
Yeah, the chopping of the hair dryer.
So that's interesting. I mean, I think because we're in the West and we're not as religious as a culture, I doubt any of the three of us were that offended by the fact that they did this in a church, but I see why that could be a problem.
For sure.
But I enjoyed it. I don't really get why it needed to be in a church, but I think it worked. Like, I think the coloring was really cool. Like, I liked the kind of the blue tone that kind of was on top of the whole thing. I liked the little duo scenes where they could interact. They were kind of, you weren't really sure what was really going on, but then like just the interaction was nice there. So there was enough kind of different things going on to keep me interested. And I agree with you. Their strength is their choreography, and it always has been. So really focusing on that did make sense. They are really good performers. I think Chaewon and Yoonjin especially stand out kind of all the time. But yeah, this is one that I wouldn't necessarily watch this video over and over again, but I appreciate it for what it is, and I think it does match the song.
Copy that. You know, here on CCTV, if you're new here, Emily, you are new here, but if you are listening here, you're new, you will know that I am the tin hat one who knows the video theories. Okay, so are y'all ready for the conspiracy corner? All right, so just real quick before we get into it, this video was actually done by edited by two Americans. So it definitely has a more Western feel to it. It was done by Taylor Tracy Walsh from Form Cabinet and Nina McNeely. And Tracy did Ariana Grande's videos, or some of them. And then Nina did Doja, The Weeknd. So there's a lot of Western influence, I guess, in this, which kind of, you can definitely see because it has a lot of movement that remind me of hip hop videos, the fisheye lens, the cuts being like very matchy, like they're called match cuts, where like there's one frame, one person in like the center of the frame, or like one subject in the center of the frame, but everything else surrounding it and the surrounding scene changes. Like the something clap your hands, y'all. You could see them changing the scene, but Eunchae is still center of the frame. I like those moments like that because it makes the video seem more seamless. There's movements that match up so perfectly, and I'm like, continuity. I love it. So from like an editor, like watching and being like nitpicky kind of thing, I'm like, yeah, I like this. But for the concept as a whole, I get the church thing because like the video starts out so mysterious because you have these girls walking in, all you can see are silhouettes. So you have like this illuminated background that kind of reminds you like, you know, heaven's doors, like you step into the light, who's coming out of that? I mean, people go to church to seek reconciliation, but these girls are unforgiven, you know, that kind of thing where they're walking in, you know, people go there to get sanctified. There's a lot of like hallowed be thy name kind of imagery. Eunchae's kind of like Mother Mary, and Yoonjin is like laying on her lap, almost in that very like iconic statue of Jesus and Mary, right? But they do it in such a way where they kind of create like a halo effect with the lighting. In the bedroom scene with Sakura and Kazuha, you could see like the neon lights. There's an evil eye and a crescent moon and stars behind the girls that they're dancing in their performance shots. So I think there's like a juxtaposition of being flawed creatures, but still being very beautiful. There's fangs and other little like fabrics and such that kind of give off that vibe of like spirituality, but still being human. So I think that they're kind of like martyrs in that sense, especially with the dying scene. I was like, what that? With the I'll say dying scene, especially with the bathtub scene. Like they're still here. They get She gets electrified. She's galvanized to continue to keep being like they're not flawless, but like amazing in that girl or whatever. So I guess in that idea, they're going for that imagery, you know. So I get the whole thing as a whole, and that's why I think I gravitated to the video, and I was like, "Oh snap! Oh my gosh, I get it! Yeah." But yeah, so if you needed the explanation, there it was. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. I think you're right because I was like, in some moments, I'm like, I feel like they're recreating religious paintings, but I just wasn't sure. Like, I almost needed like the painting behind and then pan down to them. Then I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get this. I get this.
That's so valid. But yeah, I like this one for sure.
Okay. Moving on to Twice, One Spark. I did enjoy this video. I will say, and maybe I just don't know what's going on with this group, but this whole concept with the whole references to their debut date and previous videos and their friendship and all the work that they put in and all that, it feels like a break, like the song that they release before they break up or before a break, or when a group comes back together and they reunite and then they're like looking back on their previous experience. So I don't, again, you guys can tell me if there's more to this, but that just seems odd if this is just a regular single release to do that. But I think in that concept, I think it was executed very well. Again, it was very sparkly and Disney princessy in the best way, and how I like Twice to be. They all look great. All the individual scenes are very different and very interesting. I will say the whole finale on the bridge with the fireworks, I feel like that bridge has now been used in so many K-pop music videos. It's like that highway tunnel that also is in so many K-pop music videos. Like, it's overdone. Like, what is going on? And also, the fireworks are always so badly, not badly CGI'd, but you can just tell it's fake. And I've said this before in so many videos with the fireworks. Like, stop with the fireworks, please. Other than that, though, I enjoyed the video overall.
That's wild. He said, please. You know, building rooftops with the helipad used to be all the rage, though.
Is it?
Remember they're like, we're dancing on the roof.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, like that kind of crap. Like, oh, God. They have to find something else bigger for sure. This video is what you said it was. It is very much celebratory anniversary. Their performances have been like, this is what we started at. Because I think it's almost been like, 10 years? I think it's 9 at this point,
9,
right?
yeah.
So 9 of them, 9 years. Yay. I've been with them since the beginning, y'all. I was like, I watched the show, y'all. I was crying when Momo got back in the group because he left and she came back, you know? But the video, gorgeous gowns. That's what it was giving. you know? Like that was it. Like, they look really pretty. I think I like the performance video a little bit more, but again, we'll get into that later. But the performance video, they actually did have real fireworks. You can hear them popping in the background, and it's wild. But yeah. But I think again, gorgeous gowns, and the whole video is representing like how far they've come. They look mature. They look so confident. And again, like here on the show, we will always criticize crazy facials, and they didn't have crazy facials. Even Chewy, sometimes she just doesn't give me anything. She's just serving, category is, and just looks, and that's fine sometimes. But like for this one, she kind of. Her lip curled a little bit. Her eyes look a little bit more brighter. I was like, yes, give it to me. Like, she was emoting well. Like, everyone just feels a little bit more grown up. I love that the elevator was used as like a symbolism for them, like rising through through time and levels of life as individuals, and then stopping on a timeless floor because twice is forever. I think the usage of certain props like mirrors for reflection, bright lights and prismatic lighting. It represents them because Twice lights and like their whole thing is bright anyway. But it's all about like what they've meant to each other, as opposed to like, oh my God, thank you so much for the fans. Like, feel special. Kind of the fans feel like that was they're saying thank you to us. But for this era, it was more like we appreciate what we have together, and it shows that in the video for sure. And I agree about the bridge. That was me. But. At least they got a chance to finally go outside, because Twice does have a tendency to dance inside boxes, like old school SM music videos. So kudos for them for getting outside, dancing on the bridge, shutting down traffic. But yeah, and what do you think about it?
Very similar notes. Yeah, I think the bridge can be retired, but like you said, there's always like it's a tunnel, it's the top of a building. Now it's the bridge with fireworks. They're all doing this fake fireworks bridge scene. Yeah, I'm over it. And I have to say a specific note on that bridge scene that bothered me. The styling. I loved the styling at the beginning of the music video. I thought the black and red outfits were great. I thought the silver and black outfits were great. But then they go into this, like, a lot of times in Twice videos, they do like a blah pastel. I guess it's like the Disney princess thing. But they went into this blah pastel and like cream look in the middle that didn't really work for me. And then they end it with these like casual outfits. And they're super casual. They're like plaid. They just look so out of place for this like big ending scene on the bridge with fireworks. just wear the silver sparkly glam looks for that scene. I don't understand why that was the choice. I thought that was like such a misstep. Otherwise, the music video is beautiful. It's really, it's what you expect from Twice. Just like the song, we're getting what you expect. So fans have to be happy. They're beautiful. They're giving great looks, really nice performance in front of the camera. Shout out to Chewy. I know exactly what you're talking about. She's like the Kendall Jenner of Twice. Absolutely beautiful. But sometimes there's not a lot performance-wise. Yes. Yeah, she brought it this comeback. And I think that moment where they're looking in like the crystal ball and the reflection, like you both mentioned, this can be taken two different ways, right? This can be a goodbye, or this can be celebrating how far we've come. This whole comeback for me really had that feel of like celebrating each other, celebrating what they've done together and how far they've come together. It's nice. I think it's like really happy and kind of a warm, fuzzy feeling. So I'm sure ones are happy with this. Music video was fine. I'm not blown away, but honestly, I think if you like Twice, it's what you love about them. They're beautiful, and there were some interesting choreography formations and some stuff that was cool there. So I'm excited to talk about the performance.
Yes, gorgeous gowns. Gorgeous
gowns, except for the plaid, except for those last looks.
I felt the same way. Performance we'll talk about, because I was like, what? But yeah, so let's just swing on up to NCT Wish with their music video. There's a lot going on in this one. It's so cute. This one has a lot of good humor. I do like the color grading on this one. It's really like refreshing. I mean, spring's coming, and it definitely fits for spring. I enjoy the concept of Cupid being kind of turned into this very terrible sniper. It's hilarious. They're all terrible. They cannot aim. It's so cute. I think that, again, continuity shots are very important to me as like a fake amateur editor. What really stood out to me the most was the story shots being continued via the dance performance shots. Like, for example, the boys dancing in the field, doing their little chant dance and all that stuff like that. It then eventually becomes the field that a love interest is playing guitar on while the admirer is peering onto the whole field. And I was like, love that. It just adds more layers, like you're really inside of that world and doesn't take you out of it, because there's a lot going on in this video, especially with two versions. And then the museum fight where the girl's beating the guy with the flowers then becomes a floating object to add texture to the guys' dancing scene. So I like those little moments. It's nothing that's like really crazy, like the CGI isn't like, wow, my goodness. But at least you can appreciate that there is some connectivity to the video and not just like, we're trying to make these guys look cool, go off. You know what I'm saying? And the costumes, go with that. They're looking like Cupid, but like more modernized with the beige, tan, neutral, like, palette. And then when they're on their field, they look kind of sporty and fun, like young boys, being cool. I think little moments like the Cupid statue getting covered up because it's like things like that make it cute, which goes back to what you were saying, Emily, about it not being super juvenile, but still maintaining a level of sweetness. Like, it's semi-sweet, it's nice to watch without being like, oh my God, here comes the little boing boing faces and the like, oh my God, get me out of here. I do, however, feel like the video watching it was like watching like doing a Big Brother or like a game show challenge where it's like, spot the differences, because depending on which video you got a slightly different story. Like within Japan, the girl saves one of the Cupids, but his friends find him. But the Korean version, he is saved and sees the girl and then harps on her, and he's like, I want that one. So throughout the video, in the Japanese version, they're like, let's make her fall in love. And he's like, yeah. And then it ends up just like kind of having like this little weird ending where a couple from like several thousand scenes ago ends up together. Where in the Korean version, he's like, I don't want her to fall in love. No. He jumps in front of the shot. He gets it. And everyone's like, oh, not you falling for a human. So I appreciate the Korean version a little bit more because it continues that humor. But the Japanese version also has like a good happy ending. But then leaves the girl drowning in the water because I don't know what happens after that. She legit jumps in and we never see this again. But yeah, Chris, what did you think about the video?
I really liked it. I was super impressed because I think I was worried that it would be a super juvenile video. Yeah. Even the first like NCT Dream video, if I remember correctly, was like quite cute. And even then, I mean, I was younger then, but I still felt old watching that. So I was a little worried about that for this one. And no, I think they did a really good job with this one because, of course, they are super young and they look super young. But it felt genuine. Like when they were having fun and running around and stuff, it didn't feel like they were acting and they weren't trying to be cute. It just felt like they were just having fun and just being teenage boys. Yeah. And so I appreciated that because I think with K-pop, especially with those videos you're referencing that are like the really juvenile schoolboys, that can always just, it feels, I don't know, it just feels too fake. Like no schoolboy is actually like that. No. In any culture, I'm really sure. So I really appreciated that. And this concept with the whole Cupid thing can also go very cheesy as well. And they didn't do that, which I also appreciate. I did think it was interesting. I think we mentioned earlier with NCT, with other NCT units, even with the very first videos, there was always a standout member or two.
Oh.
And we said vocally, there aren't really, that they're all kind of on par with each other, but visually as well. Like, none of them super stand out individually, and I think that's actually a good thing in this case. And none of them stand out in a bad way either. Like, they're all kind of on par with each other. So I'm actually excited to see, like, their individuality start building as well, but they're all in a really good starting point. So I was really impressed with the video and the whole concept and the execution of it.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I thought it was great. What a great note, because I wrote down the same thing. I'm like, the chemistry with this group. No one is standing out and no one is falling behind. There's something where I'm watching the whole group. And specifically, you're right, with NCT, there's an immediate standout or two in every unit. And that's who you watch, that's who you pay attention to, and they're going to be really popular. I love the synergy here. I thought the storyline was great. I loved it. The second it started, it was so different than a normal K-pop video. You have a couple in a car screaming at each other. And I'm like, what is this? This is so different. And then one of the members literally falls on their car because they're horrible cupids. And the storyline starts. I thought it was so refreshing. It was like, oh, wow, this is so nice to see. And they were outside. We got like the whole thing. We get these beautiful, gorgeous outside shots. Thank you for taking them out of the studio. It was just so different. I loved it. It felt really fresh, really bright and light. And I was actually laughing out loud at the storyline. I thought it was so well done. When they accidentally shoot a tree instead of the guy, and then she's like literally hugging and kissing the tree. I laughed out loud. I was genuinely so tickled by the whole thing. I was like, oh, this is great. The dance scenes were wonderful. I liked the choreography. I think there's a lot here with this group. And I was just so pleasantly surprised. This was just so different than all the other young boy groups I've recently reviewed. And I like those groups. But I just thought this storyline and the whole thing was such a nice way to introduce a young group. Loved it. Loved the music video.
Nice. Well, it's time to choose a winner. So, Emily, what wins for you for the music video?
I can't even hide it. I'm like becoming an NCT WISH fangirl over here. Like live on air, it's happening. I think that music video to me was the winner just because it was so unique and different. It made me laugh. There was a storyline that it wasn't just about the members. They just gave us a lot. I felt like I was watching a rom-com and I loved it. So that's my winner.
Same. I have to vote for that one too. It is levels above the other two.
Oh my God. Levels above. That's wild.
Sorry.
I actually like the SSERAFIM video because there's a lot of textures in that video that I think would go unnoticed. And the concept itself, I'm always very fascinated with the whole like religious towing the line of modernity. Is that the word when he's here? So I do like it. And for them keeping it relatively simple, there's a lot of just visual editing textures that I'm like, how to recreate. So yeah, as a personal like artist, I would want that video to be my video. Yeah.
Nice. Well, it's time for the final round, round 3, which is about the performance and choreographies. We've been teasing it this whole time. So,
round 3.
Look, they're dancers. Like, their choreography is so memorable. I always think about their title track choreography. There's one move that stands out. You know the anti-fragile move. You know the moves. It's so memorable. So this song is pointing in the direction of we're grown, we're sexy. I think they sell the sexy vibe. That's kind of the identity in a lot of ways of this group, at least in my eyes, from this point moving forward. If you compare them to like New Jeans, you know, they're under the Hype umbrella. New Jeans are young, fresh, teenage. SSERAFIM, they're kind of in your face and definitely sexy. This song had an opportunity to really go there. And while I think they go there in the chorus, I like the more grounded hip movement. Some of the choreography, it feels like they choreographed to the lyrics, not to the beat and the rhythm of the song. There is this fast choreography that is so complicated. And I'm like, what song are you even dancing to? It doesn't, to me, it doesn't go with the song at all. And it's so mind-boggling that somebody heard this song and that's the choreography they gave them. And that's the choreography they're highlighting for all the dance challenges. That's what I'm seeing 24/7. And it does not work for me at all.
Go off. You know, because I used to be a dance coverist, and a lot of the cover people, like I was going through their stories and they were like, I just want to talk. Who made the choreography? Shout out to KB, Simply KB on Instagram. But she was like, no, seriously, because what the heck? And it's so true. Like you were talking about their abs earlier. There's so much engagement necessary for this dance. I was getting mad. I was like, why am I seeing more abs than necessary? There's like certain moves where they really do, like when they're doing jacking with the back and forth. All I see is contraction of the abs. I'm like, they're naturally thin women, but a lot of the movements require so much control. Even the grooves are requiring control, that I'm seeing that they're engaging their abs. And I'm like, this sucks. Not that the choreography sucks, but it's tough to sit there and have to sing and then try to get a groove, but then hit it really tight at the end of it. And then like your abs are...
Sing?
Like,
question mark?
Oh my goodness. like, hang on, shake the computer a little bit. Wow.
Well, you know, we're talking about this group.
That's another note. They've been getting called out now for this whole whisper singing. Like
deserved.
The whole Cassie Sierra kind of whisper singing thing, it was kind of cute, but even they stopped doing it, and now they're still doing it. But with their performance, I don't know how to call their singing, but the choreography is really complicated. But I think what stands out for people are the verse movements, like the sheesh, dream, those movements there where they kind of like sway and then snap. The clap your hands part, the head thing. Everything else just feels like, I have a big qualm about this. A lot of Korean choreographers, like, I don't know what it is. I kind of do. Sometimes they get the demo that's in English before they get the Korean, and then they're choreographing to this English demo. Not really, if their English is not all the way there and they're not really like paying attention to the lyrics. Even I have choreographed to something I don't understand. I'm like, this feels like... So a lot of it just kind of feels like class choreography as opposed to like, this makes sense to the words. So they're talking about like, you know, I'm SSERAFIM, I don't know my rights, blah, 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 blah. And nothing about that seems like they're going through it like a little roll or something. It just feels like click, click, clack, clack, boom. And you're like, what the heck? So I think that's where it kind of starts to get the disconnect starts to happen. You'll get a demo in English, they'll learn the choreography months in advance, they'll film the video and maybe change it up for performances, like a, you know, SF9 doing Teardrop. You know what I'm saying? Like, but by the time we get the video and all this content, choreography is done, you know? So I think that's where the disconnect does come in. Choreography is, it's not bad, but it just feels like class choreo for me.
That's exactly what I said, actually. I said,
Really?
This feels like an advanced hip-hop class where they make it super difficult to make it difficult so you have a challenge. And it doesn't matter if it matches the song or not, because that's not the point of the class. But it does not match the song at all. I couldn't tell if they were trying to just make it ironic because, you know, the lyric is make it look easy. So they were like, we're going to give you something super hard and you have to make it look easy. That's the only way I could think of like how they came up with this. And also, let me just note, when I said the singing thing, I also want to note they have been singing the encore stages live. I already can tell I'm going to get comments about that. They have been singing live for the encore stages without a backing track. But this choreo is proof that K-pop idols do not need to sing live because it's literally impossible with this choreography. Literally impossible.
Yeah.
No, it is.
But I
Which is
think that's why they
wild.
gave it to him. I think like they're the
Right.
group that you give this to because no shade, but they're not known as vocalists. This
Right.
is not Red Velvet over here.
Right.
They're not known for their vocals. And I think like there's a lot of chatter about the end stages as there should be. So they're not planning on singing this live when they perform.
Yeah.
That's
But
kind of the vibe I'm getting.
That's valid. But yeah, I do wish, because the choreo's just at 100 the whole time.
It is.
The if they just kept the whole first half of the song really chill, and then it kind of built more and more until it gets kind of crazy for that final chorus, and it's like, whoa, like now this choreo is not easy. That would have been so much cooler as a performance. Like, can you imagine if the whole first verse they're just kind of doing these little grooves that like kind of at like 20%. And we've also said before on the show, with a lot of current K-pop groups, if they're just standing there singing a song, they have no idea how to perform. They now just rely on choreography, and they don't actually have very much natural stage presence. And this would have been the perfect way to develop that and showcase that. And so I just think it was all just a missed opportunity with this.
Yes, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. And this song has such a groove. It has such a vibe. Stay in that groove. Like those little moments were so much more exciting than the crazy difficult choreography.
Ooh, well, moving right along, we have Twice, a group not known exactly for their choreography, but in the past several comebacks, I think we can all agree that it's been getting kind of aggressive.
Yeah.
So, Chris, what do you think about the choreo? What do you think?
I really liked this choreo. Like, I think it fits the song. It's very feminine, very pretty, great musicality. But the best part of it, actually, for me, is all the formations and the pictures that they have in there. It makes it so effective. Like, even in the first verse, there's so much there. You have Jihyo walking through them diagonally and, like, different girls kind of joining in at different parts. I love the level diagonal from Mina's moment where they're, like, kind of, like, stage left as well. So it's just all, like, kind of asymmetrical, a lot of it. So it's just done so well. Like, whoever choreographed this, they made full use of having 9 bodies to work with. And so, like, as a dancer who used to, like, stage a lot of things, like, the choreography formation stuff is so good. I also appreciate that there is a mix of, like, the hard-hitting moments, like Momo's, like, little, like, shoulder thing. And then you have all the softer, like, armography that Twice is more known for in there, too. So, yeah, I really, really like the choreography. I think performance-wise, too, there's definitely an ease to them now, because they definitely are at the point in their career where they don't really have much to prove, really. And so they can kind of just do whatever feels naturally to them without having to push too hard. So I think as a whole, they perform it really well. I will always say with Twice that some members are much better performers than others, and I don't think that will ever really change. But as a whole, I think they did a good job. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. For me, I feel like everything you said was on point. You see us very physically agreeing with you. Because I think that's what people don't realize what we mean sometimes, even as, like, older K-pop fans. But not just being old, but just being older generation K-pop fans. There are moments with Abracadabra with the hip. There are moments with single ladies, even with the hand. It's okay to have one move that sticks out, and this is what's happening with them. They'll have the formations, but then you'll have these little moments with the body, or you'll have a little swang or something, or you'll have these clean little arms that you're like, hang on, how do I twerk and swing my arms too? So, and I think that's what's really important. I think I've always appreciated that about, like, some of JYP's choreography. Because NCT, SM, we'll get to them in a second, but we all know how SM has gotten with their choreography for that whole sect for the boys. But with JYP, you know the hush dance. For Dash, you know the dash is the hand. You know. For them, you know the burning with the sparkly hand. And even at the end, their heart is burning, their heart is still going. So I appreciate the old schoolness of the choreography here. So shout out to the choreographer, and shout out to their arms. These girls look like they are all in shape. Their arms look amazing, like, literally. And no one say that about Jungyeon. That's my baby. She looks good too. Everyone looks so toned and tight. I'm like, okay, go off. It's so strong, because very easily people can get. I get tired with armography and they maintain the energy. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it because we all, as Girls' Generation fans, can all agree that they didn't get better at dancing as they got older.
No, they always executed at 40%.
Yeah, they're tired. They're gonna do this.
Yeah, but with Twice, they're sitting there, and the arms are pulling. So kudos to them for sure, and the hands are always so perfect. Yeah. So, what about you, Eb? What do you feel about this one?
You both took all my notes. I couldn't agree more. No, like I kept being like, yes. What I love about Twice and what I think they do so well, the formations. They create a stage picture and they create levels where a few of them are down, people are back here. Now they switch it up and move into something else so seamlessly. I always find the choreography interesting. And when you watch the group over and over and over again, there's things that they do well. The arms, the hand choreography, beautiful, precise hand movements. And they're all so in sync with that. It's not easy to do. It looks easy, but when you watch them, they do such a great job. And it's fun. I think the arm and hand choreography, it makes dance challenges easy. It makes TikTok easy. And that's the kind of, unfortunately, that's where we are right now with choreography. And some groups execute it better than others. Twice, they're made for this and they're killing it. But to me, it's the stage picture and it's the formations and it's the interesting things they do, like you mentioned in that first verse, where she's walking through different formations. And there's a lot of asymmetrical stuff that you don't see with other K-pop groups. It's not just the V, with someone, if it's not, if it's an odd number, it's a V with someone hiding behind. Oh, yeah. But like, that's every single,
you're right.
There's going to be a V, but they're not just doing the V. It's not a V in a straight line. They're giving us so much more stuff. And I loved the harder parts. When Momo comes in that pre-chorus, I was like, go off, Momo.
Yeah.
Look at Momo bringing it. She always does. I mean, she's a great performer. But they do have different levels in the choreography. It's not all one note.
Yeah.
It switches up with the song. The musicality is there. I loved this. I just this is why I like Twice. This is what gets me with Twice. They're interesting in their performance, a little more interesting than maybe the songs or everything else. There's something there that always grabs me with Twice, and this one did it again.
That's awesome. All right, so here we are. Final contestant. NCT Wish with Wish choreography. All right, I want to say that, again, we're not surprised by the caliber of talent that is in SM camp. We're not surprised. I think what ends up happening is that we get so used to it that by the time we see another iteration of the same thing, we're like, Lord, please, something else. But I can honestly say with this group, there were some moments, I think because there's not 11 of them, that we can actually look and focus and appreciate the simpler shapes. Like, even though you're so funny, but it's so true. We got the V formation, we got diagonal. But what made it so dynamic was what they did with the certain horizontal lines. Like in the first, literally the first count of the song, they're all in a line holding each other's hands and then switching and opening it up to create a shape. They're going into a diagonal formation and actually moving it where it's a cannon, like a ripple effect. When they go into a line again, they break it off and keep moving the choreography so another formation is presented. They let people walk away when they're done singing. We haven't seen that in so long. Oh my God. But yeah, I think there's a lot of coming together, reveal the member, coming together, reveal the member parts that I appreciate, or maybe just allowing, if you're not singing, to come across as not a background dancer, but almost as you know what I'm saying? It wasn't oh, we're all going to be sitting there killing it. It's when it's not your part, go off. When it is your part, you can just walk. And you can just perform to the camera. And I think that's what's been missing from NCT as a unit as a whole. So I think I really like their choreography for that. And I like their little pick it up wish thing. Because I would have never thought to sit there and swing my leg and kick my feet up. That was so cute to me. It looks so crazy. But then I listened to the lyrics. And I was like, okay, that's the point dancing. Got it.
They're going to have fun doing that when they're older, though.
Oh my God. Yes. Oh my gosh. And then going back to what I was saying about them SM being smart enough to kind of copy trends without falling into a SSERAFIM accidental, we kind of sound like another thing. these boys have a line dance where they're conga lining. I've seen that in OMG.
Yeah.
Where they break off and do something else where they're like almost like a London Bridge. There's so many little pictures here. So they have what we like and what we know and bring a little something different because they are who they are as like a group. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell them apart yet. I can't be like, oh, that's Jack, that's Mike. I can't do that right now, but I want to because I was like, oh my God, Jack just killed it. Mike just ate that up. And that's what you want as a new group debuting or like a new fan or something like, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that for that. M or Chris.
Whose turn is it? My turn?
Emily, go for it. Yes.
Yeah, you go for
okay. Yeah, I loved this. I agree with you so much on the pictures they create. You know, there's so much going on. I loved when they do kind of like holding hands and interacting with one another. It's fun to watch dancers interact with one another, not always be facing front, not always be like, I love interaction and it creates interesting stage pictures and it's fun for the audience. It's something different. I will say though, no hate on that V because when they were doing the chanting like NCT Wish, it felt like a cheerleader move or a step move to me. I found like I saw that in there and that was really fun. I love it. Everything doesn't have to be so hard and so complicated and so intricate. You can have those moments for a more relaxed, fun move, 8 count, whatever you want to call it, and the audience will connect. They'll vibe with it. Again, stuff like that's easier for fans to do on TikTok than the most complicated choreography. I think here they gave us a little of both. There are those moments, but they're young and have energy and it shows. Like you said, this is not going to be easy to do when you're older, like post enlistment or something. I don't know if a group could do this as well. This is hard. And I loved the point choreography. It was cute without being cutesy. The whole thing was so well done. I'm surprised at how much I loved this. Because like we've talked about, for another NCT, you feel like, okay, here we go again. Like, I know, I love NCT. I know this. I'll probably vibe with it. But there's something here that feels really fresh and different. And I don't know if there's a different choreographer, a whole different team on this, but it felt that way to me. This feels like a different perspective a little bit. And it really worked for me. I love the performance and they gel. The chemistry in this group's really nice. I love their personalities and their interactions. I'm like you, I don't know their names yet. And I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to pick a bias. But nobody stood out so much that I was like, he's my bias. Look at this guy. They all killed it. And they all have moments to shine. And the choreography and performance allows them those moments to shine. Where they do get to step out. Where you do have somebody, now you fall back. All the members aren't going hard 100 the entire time because you don't need that. Give people their moments. Give people their time. I loved this. This totally worked for me. It was really fun. And there were some interesting kind of unexpected things in the choreography.
Yes. Yeah, we mentioned formations earlier too. This one also has some really cool moments. I especially like all the parts where they're more clumped together. And they're all just kind of like doing slight variations of different things on different levels and stuff. I thought it was all really, really smart. So yeah, I think the standard of NCT and SM choreography is very, very high. Like everything's always very technically difficult. And I think for a lot of non-dancer fans or people who don't even appreciate dance that much, that's actually hard to see. And so a lot of the time with NCT stuff and even an SM stuff, like the newer stuff, it's a lot harder than I think it needs to be. But as a dancer, I appreciate it. But this definitely will be a song in their concert where they're just on those things that go around the arena. Like they will not want to be doing this choreography. But yeah, I'm super impressed just of their performance ability because, I mean, they're a new group. They're very young. And their first few opportunities have been like at Tokyo Dome. And,
oh my God,
like at these crazy opportunities, which is awesome for them. But that must be terrifying. And at the SM Town performance where they all have to come up and they each have to do their, opening fairy thing where they all have to intensely stare at the camera. They all look strong. They all look confident. And I'm very impressed because I was like, there's no way I could have done that as a teenager,
Yeah, no, valid.
So very, very impressive. And they're just so well rehearsed that it just felt very natural, actually. So yeah, I was pretty impressed by that. I do think though, because it's just always so difficult, it's one of those situations, kind of like what I said with Easy, where if you're kind of everything is so difficult, you just kind of get numb to that as a viewer. And so I do wish there might have been some parts that were just a little easier, because I think that would have given a little bit more of a roller coaster effect. But overall, I did enjoy watching them perform it for sure. But there wasn't like a full like wow moment, because it was kind of all wow, you know? So I think that's my only like kind of criticism, but not really. I don't know. Yeah.
Valid. Okay, that being said, who takes this round for you?
Ooh. You know, I think I will give it to Twice, actually. Like, if I had to watch another performance right now, I would want to watch another of theirs, because I just think it was so clean how this one was done. Yeah.
I'm going to give it to NCT WISH, because I like their formations. I like how they presented it. And I think because they are so young, like, I'm a Twice fan. I've seen it. For me, I'm a little bit more like, okay, I see it. I love y'all do this. You're killing it. But NCT WISH is new to me, even though the formula is not. And I think, Emily, you do have a point in terms of like the choreography feels different, because Rise, they have more American now, as opposed to like NCT, or getting movements from like Korean like groups, like, you know what I'm saying, like We Them Boys or something like that. So I think for this one, something did feel a little different, and I agree with you. So I'm NCT WISH for me. Yeah, I love you guys. Sorry.
I know. And for me, it's between those two for sure. When I went into this and I was like, who would my winner be for choreography? I have to give it to Twice. Respect. Because I do think it's a really valid point of like, if I'm going to go back and watch right now, I'm going to watch that one. Because I think like if I was in a group, what choreography would I want to do? Or what is interesting? And what's harder than it might seem? There's something about what they do that we're talking about when it's hard, and it's way harder than the average person views choreography. There's something with Twice where I feel like they don't get enough credit. That their choreography is actually really difficult.
Yes, it is.
Their choreography is difficult. They're not doing what every other girl group does. And it's always been that way. They're killing it consistently. They have interesting, cool, unique choreography. So I have to give it to my ladies of Twice. But NCT WISH, I can't wait to follow that. I'm definitely interested in watching their career. They impressed the hell out of me with this debut.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. So I'm so sorry, Twice. I love you guys so much. I'm sorry.
The ones of the whole group didn't pick Twice. And we're
all the rounds are wrapped up, but who is everyone's ultimate winner? Chris, I'm going to get you first before you get us.
Okay. Yeah. Ultimate winner out of these three, I probably actually will go Twice. Actually, yeah, as I said, I'm not a huge Twice fan, and I don't think this song stands out a ton amongst their discography, but it is a good song. Yeah. And I do think it will grow on me as I continue listening to it. So I'll go with that one. Yes. Emily, how about you?
I'm going NCT WISH. They were my winner 2 out of 3 of the categories. I'm just so excited about them. I thought this was so refreshing. Something different from the NCT world. I can't believe we're still going. It's like I'm going to be standing NCT groups for 20 years. Like it never ends. It's like now we have another NCT group to stand. I've got to learn their names. I'm really, really feeling them. Honorable mention to Twice, though. I loved that Twice comeback.
Once the excitement came, I have to give it to NCT WISH altogether. I still think SSERAFIM's video is better. But this is my personal NCT WISH, I think, overall was good. I wasn't nauseated by any of it. I wasn't jarred by a lot, except the beginning of a song. You know what I'm saying? Like little things. There's like little deductions as to why I didn't like something, as opposed to being like, this didn't have this and this doesn't have that. So yeah, I think they take it from me.
Nice.
Yes.
Well, that wraps up our pop-up. Thank you so much, Emily, for joining us. Hope you had fun.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was great. I loved it. Thank you. I'm now like more enthusiastic about these songs and music videos. Yeah. So much fun.
We love that. And definitely make sure, everyone, to go check out the K-Pop Weekly podcast, available on all platforms. I love the way you set it up with how you talk about like the news and just kind of things going on, and you review songs too. So yes, definitely go check it out. If you're a K-pop fan, it is awesome. And of course, we are also available on all platforms. So make sure to comment, DM us at CCTV Pops as well. And you can request the next episode topics for the upcoming pop-offs.
Yeah.
And until next time, that's Chantel.
That's good.
And that's Emily. We're signing off from CCTV, the Nonstop Pop Show.